Hello, my name is Dennis Thompson. I'm the developer of the ARPWave therapeutic system that you're about ready to experience. I'd like to thank you very much for this opportunity to demonstrate to you that we can change your quality of life for the rest of your life. As you process this information that we're about ready to expel to you, here's the thing I'd like you to think about. Wherever you have pain, wherever you've been told there's a problem, is where the problem ended, not at all where it's coming from. So the very first thing that we're going to do is we're going to give you a test. That test is going to be mimicking a movement that normally would bother you. So let's say that walking up and down the stairs bothers you. The first thing we're going to ask you to do is walk up and down the stairs and give us a number of what level of discomfort that causes. After we've done that, we're going to ask you a variety of questions, completely all about your medical history, what type of symptoms you have, what type of treatments you've had in the past, what are the results of those treatments, have you had surgery, have you been told you need surgery? We're going to get a complete picture of your overall quality of life. Not only yours, if you're married, your wife's, and if you have kids, your kids. The reason that we're doing that is so we can demonstrate to you that we can change not only your quality of life, but everyone in your family's quality of life. So as we gather this information, and as we get the answers to the questions, and as we disseminate that information and your test, the first thing that we're going to do is introduce you to a completely brand new concept. That concept is neurological soft tissue medicine. Up until now, you've probably seen medical practitioners, whether it be a chiropractor, whether it be an MD, whether it be an orthopedic surgeon, whether it be an alternative medicine person. All of those disciplines are physical disciplines. They address your physiological symptoms. They do not address, however, where those symptoms are coming from. That's what our company is doing. We're pioneering a totally brand new branch of medicine called neurological soft tissue medicine. Now, the first thing that we're going to do in that system is find out, is your nervous system sending the right electrical signals to your muscles to allow them to absorb force as it comes into your body? Because if your muscles are not absorbing force, that force is transferred to tissue that is not designed to absorb force. Henceforth, you're going to have a problem. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to test to see, can you absorb force or not? We use a very simple test. We call it a muscle test. And what it's going to do is it's going to basically tell us, is your nervous system sending the right signal to the muscles to allow them to absorb force? If not, you're going to fail the test. If you do pass the test, great. If you fail it, we're just going to turn that switch back on. So that's the very first step in the system. The second step is we're going to ask you, where do you feel pain? So let's say that all of your pain is in your knee. And let's say that you've been told you have patella tendonitis. Or let's even go even further and say that you've been told you're bone on bone and you absolutely must have a brand new knee. We'll use that as an example. Keep in mind, wherever you feel pain is where the problem ended, not where it's coming from. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to put an electrode right on that spot that you say bothers you. And in this case, it's your knee. We're going to take another electrode, we're going to put it someplace else on your body. We're going to turn the power up to where we can read how your body is relating to the information that we're sending into it. When we turn it up to a designated level, measuring your sensation, then we'll know, and you will know, that where you think the problem is only where the problem ended up. So once we turn it up and we can read your body, we're going to ask you what level of discomfort you're in on a scale of 1 to 10. What sensation are you feeling? 10 would be excessively uncomfortable. 1's no big deal. My guess is you'll probably say 2, 3, or 4. Then we're going to say to you, that is where the problem ended, not where it's coming from. Now we're going to move that electrode around until we find an electrical short. And when we find that short, we know exactly where the origin of your symptoms are. And keep in mind, it's going to be quite a ways away from where you feel the problem is. Now, with that in mind, we're then going to take the electrical signal coming off the other pad and put it right back where we started from. So we've already found one spot, now we have to find the other spot. Once we find that other spot, now we know where to treat. And trust me, we are not treating your symptoms. If you have a knee problem, we may end up being on the opposite leg or on your back. I have no idea where that is going to be found, but I can tell you it's not going to be in your knee. Again, your knee is where the problem ended, not where it's coming from. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take you through a session. The session is going to consist of you doing exercise movements mimicking a movement that bothers you. So in our example, we talked about walking up and down stairs. Walking up and down stairs means you're going to have to raise your leg up and put it down. So we're going to have you march in place. We're going to turn the power up. You're going to march in place. The very first thing you're going to do is you're going to mimic your compensation pattern. And what I mean by that is, if you hurt your right leg, you're going to shift all of your weight to the left side. We do that to get away from pain. So we're going to call your attention to your compensation pattern. We're then going to put you in neutral balance, where you're working equally on both legs, and then we're going to turn the power up again. You're going to go right back to that compensation pattern. When we get done with this session, we're going to turn the power all the way down to 0, and now we're going to have you mimic the same movement you mimicked earlier, and that movement would be, example, walking up and down the stairs. So we're going to have you walk up and down the stairs, and you should see a tremendous change in the way you feel. Now, how did it happen that fast? It's real simple. In that short period of time, we worked on where the problem is coming from, not where the problem ended up. I'll give you a simple analogy. Let's say that you broke your arm. And let's say that you were in a cast for, let's say, just off the wall, 6 months. Well, if I put your arm in a cast for 6 months and I pull the cast off, do you honestly believe you're going to be able to straighten your arm out? No. Everybody understands they're not going to be able to do that. So what do? We go to a physical therapist or some type of therapist to get that arm straight. And it might take days or weeks to get that done. Why does it take so long? Because we're fighting a neurological signal that says this is normal. What do you think happens if we change the signal? And that's exactly what we do. So instead of weeks or months to get your arm straight, we send a signal in, and in exactly 1/16 of a second, your arm straightens out. How did we facilitate a change that fast? We facilitated that change by simply changing the neurological signal to protect to relax. We went from red light to green light that fast. So what you're going to experience today is going to last forever. That feeling is the feeling that you can have for the rest of your life if you go through the treatment program. Now, if you don't go through the treatment program, 4 to 5 hours from now, you're going to go right back to where? What we call homeostasis. where you feel comfortable. Again, using the arm as an example, you're going to feel comfortable in this position, not this position. So unless you go through the treatment, we can't reinforce that this is the normal position or that your knee doesn't hurt. That's what we do in the treatment. So once we've gone through this, you'll know beyond a shadow of a doubt, can we help you or not? Now let's say that you don't like the feeling. You don't like that intensity that we're going to take you through. We can treat you where you will feel absolutely nothing. The only problem with that is we're not going to change your strength and we're not going to break the compensation pattern. But we are going to find the origin, get rid of the inflammation, get blood supply into the area, and keep force out of that area. So in other words, you're going to be basically able to move without excruciating pain that you're experiencing right now. So the process is a very, very structured process. Again, to recapture, we're going to give you a test. Once we give you the test, we know exactly how you feel normally. We're going to ask you medical questions to get your medical history. Once we do that, we're going to see if your nervous system is working correctly. Once we do that, if your nervous system isn't working correctly, we're going to turn those switches back on to where your muscles can now immediately absorb force. Once we then do that, we then give you a treatment. At the end of that treatment, you'll know beyond a shadow of a doubt if we can help you or not, and I can almost guarantee you that we will be able to help you. At that point, you're going to need to make a decision. Do you want us to help you on a short-term process or a long-term process? Example, if you have a knee, it's bone on bone, and you're told you need a brand new knee, my guess is there's a whole lot of other things going on. So we can prevent you from having the knee surgery and the replacement surgery. What I'd like to do is be your consultant for the rest of your life, and anything that goes on with you or your family, we're able to address by teaching you how to use the proprietary tool that we would leave with you for the rest of your life. So at the end of this process, no matter what, you're either going to know we're going to be able to help you or we're not. And the unique thing about this is it costs you absolutely nothing to find out. So hopefully this has given you a glimpse of what you're about ready to experience. And once again, thank you so much for the opportunity to show you we can change your quality of life for the rest of your life.